Are you good?
That was fun.
All right, so today we're going to talk about the difference between complex carbs
And simple carbs.
There you go.
There I
am. Hey, thanks for joining us. So Dorothy's going to focus on one, I'm going to focus on the other, and hopefully you get the whole aspect of the difference between the two and why one's better for you and one we should probably stay away from.
I think we should start with simple carbs.
Sure.
Is that where you were thinking of starting?
It doesn't matter to me.
All right. So you just want me to go ahead?
Let's jump into it.
So, simple carbs. Simple carbs are the carbs that break down or digest super quickly in our body, which means which results in them turning into sugar faster. So the simple carbs are the carbs that we really want to stay away from, or that we want to have in moderation only once in a while. It's not a carb that we will want to include in our meals every day. So the easiest way for me and to explain how you know is a simple carb is anything white. For example, white potatoes, white pasta, white rice, white bread. All of those things are going to be simple carbs. So those are the ones that we want to stay away from because they really aren't providing any nutrients to our bodies. So they are digesting super quickly and turning into sugars really fast.
And they're usually highly refined for the most part.
Right.
And I think the digestion thing is the biggest part, especially when it comes to energy. So you'll see a spike in your blood sugar levels when you have white types of carbs, for example. And you don't see that because they process so quickly. They process in the sugar, they spike our blood sugar levels. We get that boost of energy, there's always a crash after.
That's right.
So instead of that, we have complex carbs. My turn?
Drew's gonna get into. Complex carbs and go!
So complex carbs are pretty much the opposite, meaning when you have white carbs, they digest very quickly. Slow carbs are dark carbs, and they digest much slower. So when we look at dark carbs, we have slow, sustainable energy because usually they're high in fiber, and that fiber is what helps digest in our bodies. So when we look at dark carbs, we're looking at sweet potatoes, we're looking at breads are a tough one because breads are in large part low quality types of carbs or substances in general, but if you're looking at breads, we're looking at whole grain, sprouted, whole grain, whole wheat, brown. So those are challenging because we're not like big bread people. We don't recommend bread on a regular basis. And then I said sweet potato, breads, we're looking at whole grain rice, we're looking at what else?
If you're going for a pasta or having a pasta, you'll want to look for brown, like whole wheat pasta, or even like grain like pasta.
Yeah, they have like lentil pasta now. They have quinoa pasta now. Now understand that those are processed, much like the white types of carbs that we're talking about here. Those are highly processed. Like bread is processed, pasta is processed. We can get into crackers. We didn't really talk about crackers.
We didn't talk about crackers.
You can find better quality crackers, but they usually have tons of ingredients, which means they would be unhealthy for you.
And they would more likely be in the simple carb category, crackers.
So when you're looking at carbs in general, we want you to focus on the dark colored carbs. Now, that's not to say never have white potatoes, for example. If you're growing them yourself, the nutrient value is much different. And also if they're grown locally, that's a whole different type of conversation. But you can have those types of foods, those type of carbs once in a while. But for the most part, 90%, we want you to have dark carbs in your diet.
Right. And carbs, we often talk about improving our energy level, and carbs are a means of creating or gaining more energy if we stick to the complex carbs.
Right.
The simple carbs are going to make us feel drowsy and tired and cause most likely digestive issues for lots of us. But if we stick to the complex carbs, then that is going to make us feel better. It's going to make us have more energy and just stronger in general.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all there is. That's the simplest way that we can explain simple carbs and complex carbs and why you should stick to complex and try to avoid simple as often as possible.
That's right.
All right.